I'm Jacob Frazier.
And I'm Andrea Ross. We're glad you've joined us for the news we've been following for you. French investigators cracked open the mangled black box of a German jetliner on Wednesday and sealed off the rugged Alpine Crest site where 150 people died when their plane slammed into a mountain. The dented, twisted, and scarred cockpit voice recorder was being mined by investigators for clues into what set the Germanwings Airbus 320 into a mid-flight dive Tuesday after pilots lost radio contact over the southern French Alps during a routine flight from Barcelona to Dusseldorf. Germany's top security officials said Wednesday there was no evidence of foul play.
Helicopters surveying the scattered debris lifted off at daybreak to eye the craggy ravine. Emergency crews, meanwhile, traveled slowly over the steep, rocky terrain to the remote high-altitude crash site through fresh snow and rain. Bereaved families and the French and Spanish leaders were expected later Wednesday. Key to the investigation is what happened in the 2 minutes of 10:30 a.m. and 10:31 a.m., a top government minister said. From then on, air traffic controllers were unable to make contact with the plane.
President Barack Obama agreed Tuesday to slow the U.S. military pullout from Afghanistan at the request of its new government, but insisted the delay won't jeopardize his commitment to end America's longest war before leaving office. In a shift from his previous plan, Obama said the U.S. would leave its 9,800 troops currently in Afghanistan in place, rather than downsizing to 5,500 by year's end. The size of the U.S. footprint for next year is still to be decided, he said, but he brushed aside any speculation that withdrawal will bleed into 2017 when the next president takes over.
Afghanistan remains a very dangerous place, and insurgents still launch attacks, including cowardly suicide bombings against civilians. President Ghani is pursuing reforms to further strengthen Afghan security forces, including respect for human rights. And as part of the ongoing NATO mission, the United States will continue to train, advise, and assist Afghan security forces.
Senator Ted Cruz could soon be buying his family's health care coverage through the Affordable Care Act, a law the Republican presidential candidate has vowed to repeal should he win the White House. Cruz formally launched his presidential campaign on Monday, and his wife, Heidi Cruz, began an unpaid leave of absence from her job as a managing director in the Houston office of Goldman Sachs. That meant the family would soon lose access to health insurance through Mrs. Cruz's job, triggering a need for the Cruz family to find a new policy. The first-term senator from Texas said he is looking at options available on health insurance exchange, or a clearinghouse of policies available to Americans who don't receive coverage through their employers. The Democrats' health care law, also known as Obamacare, created the exchange system.
Distractions, especially talking with passengers and using cell phones, play a far greater role in car crashes involving teen drivers than has been previously understood, according to compelling new evidence cited by safety researchers. The AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety analyzed nearly 1,700 videos that capture the actions of teen drivers in the moments before a crash. It found that distractions were a factor of nearly 6 to 10 moderate to severe crashes. That's 4 times the rate in many previous official estimates that were based on police reports. The study is unusual because researchers rarely have access to crash videos that clearly show what drivers were doing in the seconds before impact, as well as what was happening on the road.
Dashboard video shows the terrifying moments as distracted teen drivers lose control, even crash their vehicles. New research from the AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety shows distracted driving amongst teens is a more serious problem than previously thought.
This report really provides an unprecedented look into the window of time leading up to a crash for a teen driver.
And in that 6-second window before a crash,
we found actually that 4 out of the 6 seconds, a teen was not even paying attention to the road.
AAA analyzed nearly 1,700 crash videos provided by Litex, which has been collecting data from in-vehicle recorders. Distraction was a factor in 6 out of 10 moderate to severe crashes involving teens, 4 times as many as official estimates based on police reports. Cell phone use is cited in 12% of those crashes.
The study looked at just interacting with a cell phone, so it would include everything from talking on the cell phone, using it for texting, or social media.
However, Having one or more passengers with the driver was the most common distraction before a crash.
Oh! That was my phone.
It's showing them something on their cell phone, or there were also another form of distraction was things in and outside of the vehicle. So whether it be pointing at something outside the vehicle or pointing at something inside the vehicle, there was just a lot of interaction with the teen.
AAA says the report should be a wake-up call for parents and lawmakers.
Parents really play a critical role in teaching their teen to drive and help them manage distractions.
Among the recommendations, that states review distracted driving laws, prohibit cell phone use by teen drivers, and include passenger restrictions. Bob McCall, Associated Press.
A high school in southern Louisiana has suspended at least 45 students as a part of an investigation into a student who changed grades through a web-based computer program. Beauchene High School principal Keith James said the student gained access to a program called Power School by obtaining a teacher's password and was able to change grades for several students. James says the student would sometimes charge money to change other students' grades, but would also change them as favors. The principal said suspensions varied based on students' involvement.
Here's Lisa Greco with a quick look at the forecast that could only be described as changeable and unspring-like.
Warmer and wetter for the next 2 days. That's the long and short of it. I guess in some ways it will seem more spring-like as temperatures head into the mid to upper 40s today and tomorrow. It may rain hard later today before clouds and intermittent showers for Thursday. With the warmer temps and rain, we could see some minor flooding and puddling on roads, so be careful if you're driving. The changes come later, Thursday night into Friday morning, when cooler air comes in and drops our temperatures into the low 30s. Temps will continue to fall into the mid-20s for Saturday. That's more than 25 degrees below normal. We rebound a little on Sunday with some sun. We've been looking for some spring weather and may have found at least 1 day's worth. There is some indication that come next week, maybe Wednesday, we could see some sunny skies and temperatures in the low 50s. The normal high for April 1st in central New York is 50 degrees. That's your forecast. Like it or not, I'm Melissa Greco.
Here's Patrick Howell with a look at what's going on in sports.
The first ticket has yet to be sold, but the richest fight in boxing history is getting richer by the day. New estimates show Floyd Mayweather's payoff for fighting Manny Pacquiao could easily be $180 million, up substantially from earlier predictions of $120 million. Pacquiao gets the short end of the purse, but even that is expected to be well over $100 million by the time everything is tallied up. The money is staggering, though not exactly unexpected. 5 years of waiting seem to have only piqued the public's demand for the one fight even casual fans of the sport want to see. The May 2nd fight caps off a spectacular sports day. The Yankees and Red Sox play that afternoon, followed by the Kentucky Derby. The last perfect bracket out of the 11.57 million in the tournament challenge finally fell when the Arizona Wildcats knocked off the Ohio State Buckeyes. Malachi from Cleveland, Ohio, had correctly picked all 32 games through the second round of the ESPN Tournament Challenge, including upsets by Georgia State and the University of Alabama at Birmingham. He picked more upsets on Sunday, but the number 10 seed Buckeyes couldn't beat number 2 Arizona, bringing his run to an end. Malachi added that he didn't watch a single college basketball game until the tournament started. The NCAA tournament gets underway on Thursday. Here's the schedule. On Thursday, Wichita State takes on Notre Dame, and West Virginia takes on Kentucky Wildcats. Also on Thursday, for the West Regionals at the Staples Center, North Carolina takes on Wisconsin, while Xavier Musketeers takes on Arizona Wildcats. For the South Regional at the NRG Stadium, UCLA takes on Gonzaga, and Utah takes on Duke. And finally on Friday, Syracuse University hosts the East Regional at the Carrier Dome. NC State takes on Louisville, and Michigan State takes on Oklahoma. That's all for sports. I'm Patrick Howell.
Here's Abby Garrett with a look at our calendar.
too far away. If you are attending the junior prom and have not yet signed up on the class roster, please do so in Mrs. Harder's, Mrs. Greco, Mr. Deckman's, or Mr. Coughlin's room. Please use the clipboard provided. The Friends of Rachel Club will be selling spring bunnygrams from today through Thursday the 26th. For only 50 cents, send a spring greeting and a mini Kit Kat to brighten someone's day. Please see a Friends of Rachel Club member if you would like to purchase bunnygrams. There will be an informational meeting this Friday, March 27th at 2:15 in Madame Harder's room for any student considering traveling to France this summer. Sports physicals will be held here at Mexico High School on May 5th and May 19th. You must see Miss Wallace for paperwork and to sign up. This physical will allow you to be eligible to play sports for the entire 2015-2016 school year. And of course, we should remind everyone, not that we need reminding, that next week is indeed spring break, so no classes. We resume on April 6th. That's the calendar. I'm Abby Garrett.
And finally, here's Sarah Petricola with a look at this day in history.
On this day in history, in 1807, Britain abolished its slave trade. In 1911, a fire at the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory in New York City killed 146 workers, most of them young immigrant women. The tragedy galvanized America's labor movement. In 1965, the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. led 25,000 marchers to state capitol in Montgomery, Alabama, to protest the denial of voting rights to blacks. And in 1998, President Bill Clinton acknowledged during his African tour that, quote, "we did not act quickly enough," end quote, to stop the slaughter of 1 million Rwandans 4 years earlier.
Thanks for joining us again. For the staff of Eye on the Tigers News, I'm Jacob Frazier.
And I'm Andrea Ross. Have a great day, and we'll be back on Friday.